Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I learned on our mission trip. Actually, God spoke to me and I kind of wanted to just share this idea. It was very convicting for me, so I wanted to share in case, somebody else would be encouraged or convicted by it. So we did just get back last night. This house is a mess. We're doing laundry. Eric is mowing the lawn outside, so there's a lot of noises and a lot of stuff going on, so hopefully it's not too distracting. It was a really great week with the senior high youth group, and we were able to serve and to minister and to just share the gospel with people and to help ministries that are already put in place and to just help them do some things that need to be done. And each day we had a little devotion time that we did on our own in the morning, and then we would come together at night to discuss it. And so we read the first 5 chapters of Daniel. So I just kind of wanted to share something that stuck out to me when we were doing our own personal devotions. It started in Daniel chapter 2. And if you don't know, the basic storyline of the first 5 chapters of Daniel is Daniel's people were in captivity and they were exiles. And they were basically forced to learn a new language, learn a new culture, all of these things in the Babylonian Empire. And so King Nebuchadnezzar was king over the Babylonian Empire. And in Daniel chapter 2, he has this dream and he wants someone to interpret it, but he says, I don't want to tell you my dream and you tell me what it means because I don't know if it'll be accurate. I want you to tell me what I dreamed and then tell me what it means, which obviously is impossible. Daniel first prays and asks God to show him what the dream is and what it means, and God does just that and reveals the dream to him and the interpretation. Daniel goes before King Nebuchadnezzar and tells him all of this stuff, and at the end of this chapter, King Nebuchadnezzar is like, that's crazy, obviously that's impossible that you did this. He says something really interesting. Truly your God is God of gods and Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries, for you have been able to reveal this mystery. So at first it kind of sounds like he is admitting the fact that your God did this. It is very telling of his power and his might. And it almost seems like King Nebuchadnezzar is convinced that God is the God. But then we read in chapter 3 in the next chapter, and this chapter is all about how Nebuchadnezzar makes this golden image and wants everybody to worship it. Daniel's 3 friends don't want to bow before the false idol, and they tell him God will rescue us. Even if he doesn't rescue us, we still won't worship your false idol because it's not a true God. They're thrown into the fiery furnace and are completely unharmed. They're taken out. Obviously another miracle, and Nebuchadnezzar responds and says, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him and set aside the king's command and yielded up their bodies rather than serve and worship any god but their own God. And when I first read the beginning of chapter 3, I was like, this king literally just saw a miracle in Daniel being able to tell him his dream and what this dream meant. And in the very next chapter, he's already making a false idol and worshiping it and commanding everybody else to worship it. And then it takes another miracle for him to kind of give God credit. But if you really notice, both times though, Nebuchadnezzar does not claim God as his own. In chapter 2, he says, your God is a God of gods. Not saying your God is the God, but he's saying your God is the best God of all of the gods. And then in chapter 3, he says, praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Not praise be to God, my God. He never claims God as his own. And I was really convicted about that because it was how often am I kind of like Nebuchadnezzar, where I just go from one miracle or one crazy cool thing that I see God do, and I'm like, wow, God is awesome, he did the impossible, or he really answered my prayer, he did this cool thing. And then I kind of that fades, that elation fades, I guess, and you just go back into normal life, and before you know it, you're making a false god and worshiping it. And then God does something really cool again, and you're like, oh yeah, praise be to God. But you're never really I say you, but I mean me. Like, I'm never really claiming God as my own. Like, I think so often we think like, oh, if God just did something really miraculous or really cool, like, and I was able to see it, that would change my walk of faith. Like, I would believe and my life would forever be changed. And it's not just this example. Like, there have been numerous things within the Bible, even the Israelites, like, they saw miracle after miracle. And it was like, we worship him and it's like, oh my goodness, thank you, God, you're so good. And then things go back to normal and you're like complaining and griping and you're like, this is not what I wanted. Where are you, God? You're not with me. And then he does something miraculous again and you're right back on that mountaintop and then you fall down again. I really noticed the wording in how Nebuchadnezzar like kind of skirts around claiming God as his own and claiming God as the only God. I might not be like King Nebuchadnezzar at times in word where I don't admit or I don't acknowledge that God is the only God. I do that and I will say that with my words, but I would more so be like him in action where I don't live in the mundane life or in the trials, or I don't live in like the in-between of the mountaintops, as if God is still my God and a God who is still capable of truly anything, the impossible. I mean, I'm not a Babylonian king, but I feel like I do that. I have these times where I'm so close to God and I'm like, this was incredible and this is going to change my faith forever. And then that elation fades and you just go back to normal life and you're like, I feel myself distancing myself from God. And I'm just like living my own life, doing kind of whatever I want. And it takes something really remarkable and really challenging for me to get back to him. My takeaway from this is, I really want to, yes, look for those miracles and look for those crazy, cool things that God does and has done and remember them and also look for them to come. But I also want to stay steady and stay strong in my faith in the in-between times when those things are not taking place, because God is no less awesome and no less worthy to be praised in times of normalcy or times of change or times of trial or times of blessing. He is worthy to be praised all of those times, and God desires to have a relationship with me and talk with me in any phase of my life. I really felt convicted about that, so I wanted to, share and see if maybe someone would be encouraged by that as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna actually continue reading the book of Daniel because I don't think I've read the whole book beginning to end like a study. So I figured I might as well start it. I'm already 5 chapters in. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. If you have not already subscribed, please do so. If you have something to share, go ahead and comment. If you like this video, like it, whatever you want to do, I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.